Hey guys and girls, it's Blackjack with 396 Guitars. We are working on a Brian Moore Guitars restoration. I'm going to get right to it. Let's check it out. Remember, if you dig what I'm doing, please like and subscribe and share by all means. Brian Moore Guitars. I did a little bit of research on them. I've heard of them. I don't think I've ever had one in the shop per se. It's been sitting in a storage bin well, we live in South Florida, and the summers here are hot, wet, humid, and grungy. And it's been sitting in a storage bin for 15 years-ish or something like that, if I remember what the client told me. The guitar was gifted to him, and he brought it to me and said, what can you do? Is it going to work? Can you fix it and make it play again? Well, as I've said many times before, I love a challenge. It has a nondescript, licensed by Floyd Rose. Let me see what it says exactly, because Floyd Rose, licensed under Floyd Rose patents. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's a Floyd Rose. It doesn't really matter at this juncture. Look at what we're dealing with. Let me get it up close so you can really see and get an idea just the neglect that this guitar has suffered over the years. And it's not the client's fault. That's not where I'm going with this, but neglect meaning it has been languishing in a storage bin for 15 hot Florida summers. South Florida summers, which is even worse in a lot of regards. I'm going to today's video is going to be getting the rusty wire off, otherwise known as guitar strings. It's strung backwards. Ironically enough, I have had two guitars with Floyd Rose locking nut systems come into the shop in the last 2 weeks that I've never seen this before. This is the second one. The first one I go, why are the strings on backwards? All the ball ends are up here by the tuners on the headstock, and then the other part is put in there. Yeah, wrong. That's a fail. But anyway, today's exercise is going to be, first we're going to test the electronics and see if we can get any sound out of it. Where is our, oh, it's underneath on this side. Well, that's weird. I just want to test the electronics before I gut it. And if these pickups work, then I'm going to try to save them. I'm really worried about what's going on here because, well, electronics, they don't like that sort of thing, and being neglected and being in this condition. I don't know if they'll be salvageable, but we're going to find out soon enough. So normally you would look over here for, nope, it's on this side, right under your belt loop. Let me flip the guitar cable around. And again, I'm just testing to see if they work before I get started. If they don't, then we're going to have to call the customer right away and tell them that, hey, well, we're going to probably need a set of pickups. But let's see first. Let's put something under there. I don't like that. I've never seen that configuration. 3 pickups. Well, it's making sound. Got 1 volume, 1 tone. Five-way. So far, so good. Okay, well, the pickups are working. That's all I wanted to ascertain. I I'm going to do my best to clean them and salvage them. And then if the client decides at a later date that he wants to put new ones in, because once they're in this condition, you can never ever make them new again. It will cost me more to restore these pickups. In other words, taking them all the way down to just nothing. And I'm afraid to do that anyway, because the little wires in there are just that, really little and really tiny. And once you screw up the windings in a pickup, you're done. Unless you know how to do that sort of thing. And I know how to do it, but I don't. I am going to take everything out, all of the hardware. Get the strings off, get the tuners off, get the bridge out, and it's all going to go into a plastic bin, and I'm going to use what I call my magic sauce to try to loosen this stuff up. I have gotten all of the string locking bolts loose. They turned. I did that with the customer when he first came in, but all of the string blocks are frozen. In other words, just to get the low E string out, I had to loosen the bolt and then tap with a really small punch to get that string block loose. So that means they're locked in there and corroded and stuck to the plating in each individual saddle. Now I'm hoping that once it soaks for a couple of days, that some of this stuff will loosen up. And if I can salvage this bridge, I'm going to reuse it. If not, we're just going to try to source out something that will work in this instrument and go from there. So I am going to pause while I get the strings off, and then we'll start showing how we dismantle. Oh, and by the way, the frets are, I'm going to say this out loud, are probably the worst I've ever seen. They're not only corroded, but they're rusted. There's a lot of rust on them. So the neck is definitely coming off of this guitar, so that at some juncture, once I know we're going to move forward and we're going to be okay as far as electronics and other things, I'm going to pull the neck and really, really get after this, because the wood and the frets on the fretboard are going to need some serious love. So stand by. Let me get the rusted wire off of it, and we'll go to dismantle. Today's video is just going to be dismantling it and getting it to the point where we can move forward. Okay, we're back. Under closer inspection, I took out the cavity cover, the control cavity. It's got 2 push-pulls in it. I didn't realize that. I wasn't looking for it. The pots are loose. They were making a little bit of noise, but I'm going to try to leave this the way that it is. Everything seems to be working correctly, so even the output jack is loose. We're going to spray all of this with some deoxit when we get to that juncture. I'm going to pull the bridge out, but it is blocked, so whoever had it and was playing it blocked the Floyd Rose-ish system. No big deal. While we're at it here, let's get the tuners off, because all of this stuff's going to need to be cleaned and put back together for reassembly. I'm going to really just try to do a restoration on it. If we could salvage all this stuff and just clean it up and make it functional. If the client decides at a later date he wants it to be shiny and not brand new looking, then we'll go for that. But right now, my mission, should I decide to accept it, is to make it play again. And yeah, I'm okay with that. I love a challenge. I was hoping to be able to just gut everything and pull all the electronics out, but they're in such a state that I think I'm going to backpedal a little bit and try to clean them up the best way that I can. I'm going to unscrew and pull them out and clean them up individually, because I really don't want to disturb the wiring. Actually, looks like it's pretty good, because of course all of that stuff is inside and it's not exposed to the elements. If we can just get away with spray cleaning the electronics, we'll go for that. If not, then, well, you know, it'll be a whole other escapade. Wow, wow, wow. I don't remember having one this bad in a long time. Only time will tell. But I really appreciate that the neighbors are getting their lawn service done while I'm trying to record just outside my window. And I'm sure it's coming out on video. Love it. I apologize. Stand by while I get this out. Oh, for the love of Pete. I swear, whenever I try to record, somebody next door decides they're going to mow the yard. But I digress. So we got to get this stuff out of here and move forward. I'm going to leave the electronics, as I said. Let's get the bridge out at least. Everything that was in here and covered is in pretty good shape. So I think it was just the other side that was, you know, exposed to the elements, as it were, all those years. Everything here is nice and loose. This is a mess. That's going to have to soak in my magic potion for at least a couple of hours, but it's out. Are these going to cooperate and come out? Yep. So I got all the tuners out of the headstock, as you can see. I was hoping that I could get all of this gutted out, but I'm leery of really taking the pickups all the way out and rewiring it. That was my initial plan, but I think I'm just going to do a cosmetic cleanup of these and try not to disrupt them too much. And then, as I said, if the client decides that he loves the guitar enough to go to the next level, then yeah, we'll either tear these all the way down to nothing and clean them, or we'll get new pickups for it, which is kind of what I would tell them to do. There's nothing special or spectacular about these pickups. There's one Seymour Duncan. I don't know what these are. A couple of $100, you could get a nice set of pickups and have, you know, brand new stuff in there. So I'm going to cover this stuff back up again, just so I can clean the body and the back. And I'm going to pull one of these out on this video just to see what's happening here. The easiest one is the one without the pickup ring, or a pickup ring. Yeah, I think we're just gonna clean these up and try to put them back in. I can sandpaper magnetic holes that are sticking up a little bit to clean them up, but I think that's what we're going to do. It's really just corrosion and crap in there, stuck to the tape. If we go too far with these and something comes unraveled, then, you know, it's going to get new pickups anyway, but I think that's where we're going to stop. That was dismantle, really. The next video is going to show us trying to, what I wanted to do was gut it and then be able to just buff the entire body, front and back, top and bottom. I wonder just how bad this grunge is on here. Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. I think we may have to go farther than we thought. This is going to need some compound. I really do need to do this job right. I need to clean the body, and I need to clean it properly. So, onward and upward, which is... I wonder how much lead we have. It seems like that one. There's been a lot of rewiring work on this at some juncture in its life. I think what we're going to attempt to do is just pull out enough that we can put it back together. We're going to snip them off, and oh, there we just took a ground off. Boy, there's a lot there. At least I can get the center one out. We'll just solder this back on. I really want to get these off. Is where I'm headed with this. Here we go. Ground wire off. No big deal. Let's see if we have enough lead to do the same thing with, say, one of the humbuckers. How lucky do you think I'll get? We'll show this one, and then that's it for today. What I'd like to do, that way I can take these off and clean them really well. Boy, they are stuck. So much goop. And I think before this guitar ever got put into storage, it was probably not cleaned for what seems like ever. I wonder where that one's coming from and just how much lead do we have. Right there. That's how much lead we have. Don't be afraid. The end result will be better if we try to clean it with this stuff off. Different size screws everywhere. I love a challenge. I love a challenge. Why does that not want to come out? Oh, great. So we've got a rusted out screw head there. Well, now I own it. Let's just see how bad that is. Yeah, there's literally nothing left to it. Literally nothing left to it. A pickup ring screw. That's what's going to hold me up today. Wow. I could just get a good tool on it. I think I exposed it enough that I might have almost. All right, I'm going to have to pause briefly. I have to find the exact little screw bit to fit in whatever is left of that Phillips head fitting. Stand by. All right, so this mantle is pretty much complete. I took the pickups out. There's just no way to clean this properly without taking the pickups out. Now, I'm going to leave the wiring at this juncture. I may end up changing my mind and rewiring the entire guitar, but everything in here looks clean, and I think I'm just going to leave it if I can get away with that. We'll see. One little ground wire popped off, and you know, if we reuse these pickups, all we're going to do is, by the way, both buckers are Seymour Duncan, so I have no reason not to think that the center single coil is a Seymour Duncan as well. Although it looks like it might be a Fender. It's hard to tell. There's been a lot of wire work in here, but at least now I can clean the body up very easily by, you know, undoing that, pushing it through, buff the body out, get it up to at least as clean as it can possibly present. Of course, I'm going to take the neck off to do that and clean up the headstock. At least we'll get the body of the guitar itself presentable. We will do the frets at the same time. We're going to clean everything up, and then it's just a matter of splicing the pickups back in after I get a chance to go through them and clean them up. I don't really want to take them all the way apart, but we'll do what we have to do. That's going to be pretty much it for today's video. It showed us getting to the juncture, you know, that we're at as far as getting ready to clean up, and then mechanical and electrical will take place. You never know what you're going to get and what you're going to get into. And oh, by the way, every little screw, every little fastener, every little spring, all of that stuff has to be replaced because it's just completely rusted through. And I had to cut the bridge. Case in point, I had to cut the bridge pickup ring to get that pickup out because the screw that was in there was so badly corroded that the head actually just came apart. It was so badly rusted. And yeah, we'll fix all that. We'll put new hardware, new screws, new everything. I mean, I really have to go through this, all that stuff, clean it, soak it, buff it. Yeah, we got a job ahead of us. We got a real job ahead of us. But I love a challenge, and we're going to go through it together. So stay tuned. There's probably going to be a couple of, you know, installments here, but we'll get to it. And when we're done, it's going to be a pretty cool day. We'll talk soon. Remember, if you dig what I'm doing, like and subscribe.